Networking has changed my life. It gave me the perspective and wisdom. Having coffee and taking walks with people who have years of professional speaking experience, mentors, professional speakers, this has given me so much perspective and wisdom. It's given me invaluable friendships. My closest friends right now, the ones that tied me through multiple tough and low moments this year, are the people that I met on the internet in the spirit of networking. And networking has also fed my soul and need for human connection. Networking is choosing to meet people outside your current circle of friends and colleagues. And the reality is, you need networking in your career. It's unavoidable. As long as you want to progress in your career, you need to talk to people. You need to meet new people. One of my coaches actually managed to connect with a senior that she really looked up to, who was working in the industry that she aspires to be in. And that senior even took time to review her resume and her job application, all through networking. And for that particular instance, it was on LinkedIn. So there's so much power in networking. There's so much power in meeting people outside your current circle. How do we do it? Firstly, networking is connection plus contribution. Sometimes the word networking seems a little bit scary. It's like, oh my goodness, it sounds so transactional. Networking, it sounds so formal. But actually, networking is really connection plus contribution. Networking is connection. Both parties have to feel seen, heard, and understood in that interaction. You have to have that feeling of, this person wants to hear what I have to say, and I love talking to them. Networking is also contribution. It is contributing first with your energy and your presence, and then your experience, connections, or opportunities that you know of. So networking is connection and contribution. So I want to start you off with 3 principles that will transform the way you view networking. And it may not be principles that you commonly think of at the top of your head. Number 1, to tackle the fear of networking, start thinking less about you and focus more about the person. Most people fear networking because they think, oh, why would the person want to speak to me? Right? I'm nobody. They are like a manager, they are like a CEO, they're so high up there. Instead of thinking that way, think, how can I contribute to this person? How can I be present for this person? And when you do that, your brain starts thinking more about the creative ways that you can contribute to them and less about what the person thinks of you. Plus, these thoughts of, oh, the person wouldn't want to talk to me, these are all judgments that you make, and you have zero evidence to confirm that this person is actually thinking these thoughts. Which brings me to principle number 2. Let people make their own choices. Don't make choices for them. When you think, the person doesn't want to talk to me, you're making the choice for them. Why should you? Just as you get to choose who you want to connect with, allow that person to also choose if they want to connect with you. So what you want to do is to just let the person have the choice. Don't make the choice for them. Just simply show up as you are and allow that person to choose whether they want to speak to you or not. What I notice is that sometimes we actually let our stereotypes of someone stop us from really getting to know the person as they are. We look at the person who's in the suit, bold lipstick, sunglasses, super prim and proper, and we think, oh, he or she looks so unfriendly. I don't think they want to speak to me. These first impressions cause you to lose the opportunity of really getting to know the person for who they are. No one is constantly looking at you with a smile in their face going, yes, talk to me, yes, talk to me. So sometimes people do look scary just because they are just having no smile on their face. They're just minding your own business. You just got to open your mouth, step forward, and start the conversation. Principle number 3 is this. Show up as you, and you'll naturally connect with the right people. Your vibe attracts your tribe. You'll naturally gravitate towards people who share similar values, interests, and common goals as you. So really, all you have to do is to be sincere, show up as you, and know people for who they are, and you will ultimately attract the right people into your network. Now, do keep these 3 principles in mind as you continue listening to the rest of this episode. But I do want to say that if you're someone who really has a super, super deep fear of speaking up to strangers, you have a lot of self-doubt, it is actually worth exploring further into this fear and understanding where it comes from. One of my coaches, when he first started working with me, he had this really massive fear of speaking up at social events and conversations, even in friend circles. We needed to dive deeper into the rewire beliefs process in the Own Your Voice methodology to really explore why he had that fear. And when we realized that it really stemmed back into his childhood and we managed to, work through that and dissolve that fear slowly, he was then able to go to his next networking event in which he was the youngest and quote-unquote most inexperienced person. He entered the event, everybody there had more than 10 years of experience more than him, and he managed to speak up confidently to them, get a bunch of name cards, learn from their experience. He even started networking and speaking to the service staff in the hotel. He was just crazy. Like, he was wild at that point in time. From the kind of state that he was in before, having that fear of speaking up to strangers, to now being able to network so confidently, he actually needed to understand where that fear came from, right? So keep these 3 principles in mind. But if you are thinking, hey Ray, I have a lot of fear still, and it's been this way for many, many years, it's worth exploring further through coaching. Now let's move on to 3 simple ways to connect with people better. Number 1, stop waiting to talk and actually start listening. It is the act of consciously paying attention to the person in an attempt to understand the person, to truly understand. One mistake that most people make is they start thinking about their response while the other party is speaking. Okay, have you done this before? There are a few reasons why we do that. Namely, we want to plan our response so we don't screw up. We are too excited to share our response based on the first few sentences when the person started speaking, or we don't agree with that person and what they say, and we're just so excited to want to, think of a rebuttal or start debating and countering their point of view. Regardless, allow yourself to hold back your need to speak and simply listen. Be curious to hear the other person's perspective before you share your opinion. Otherwise, it would just be a one-way conversation. You're just saying, but you don't even know how the person thinks or why the person thinks that particular way. So the first principle, the first way to connect with people better is to stop waiting to talk and actually start listening. Be curious, lean in, and want to listen to their point of view. The second way is to create a vacuum bubble of full focus. You know what makes me feel super important in a conversation? Is when someone actually leans in, look into my eyes, not creepily, but with those gentle eyes, and look at me like they're really curious to listen. They wanna just listen to what I have to say. Right? This just happened to me yesterday. I was just sharing a story about my trip, and also a couple of challenges that I've been through this past couple of months, and my friend just leaned in and listened. And it made me feel so seen, heard, and understood. Please don't get distracted by a million other things on your mind. Don't think about what you want to have for lunch. Don't think about your next meeting. If you need to, set an alarm, and that's it. Don't keep checking your phone when's my next meeting, or is it going to come soon. Don't get distracted by what's happening behind the person, around the restaurant. Allow yourself to create that vacuum bubble of full focus. Lean in and listen. And number 3, the third way to connect better with people is to look out for similarities and point them out. People feel more connected to you when they feel similar to you. So, recently I was visiting the Goa Gajah Elephant Temple in Bali with my family, and suddenly a woman came up to me and asked, "Hey, are you Singaporean?" So she picked up on our Singaporean accent, and she was here with her family as well. And just simply picking up on that similarity became an excited 20-minute long conversation outside the Goa Gajah temple between 2 families, mine and hers. And right now I even have her number. We exchanged numbers. She and her family is residing in Australia, Melbourne now, and she's like, "Hey, if you ever come to Melbourne, please drop us a text. We'll show you around." And look what happened. An unlikely connection. I would have never met her. She and her family doesn't even stay in Singapore right now. But because of that one similarity that she pointed out, it became this beautiful connection and such an enjoyable conversation. We were completely strangers, but because of that similarity, we connected right away. How do you apply this? During a conversation, if you notice a similarity, point it out. Say something like, oh my goodness, yes, I'm an introvert too. Or, oh, I love Japanese food as well. This creates that instant connection, that instant rapport. So once again, the third way to build better connection with people is to look out for similarities, and don't just stop there, point out those similarities. Now let's move on to 3 simple, super easy ways to contribute meaningfully to someone. Because remember, networking is about connection and then contribution. If you just connect, and well, after that conversation, the person will forget you and they will not be in your network anymore. So how do we contribute to people meaningfully in a way that is super easy, doesn't cost you a cent, and doesn't cost you much effort? Okay, this is how to do it. Okay, 3 simple, super easy ways to contribute meaningfully to people that doesn't cost you a cent and doesn't cost much effort. Number 1, be present. It's such an important point that I have to say it twice in this podcast. Right? I talk about the vacuum bubble. Be present. It is so simple, so easy, but rarely done. Have you ever had coffee with someone and half the time they are just checking their phones and their mind seems to be like super distracted? Well, I have. Okay, I've spoken to someone like that, and throughout the entire time, the person was just texting away. Being present is one of the easiest ways to contribute to someone, and it doesn't cost a cent. Please give people the gift of your presence. If the person is there present with you, be present with them. That's also contributing to that person's happiness, that person's feeling of importance. Number 2, second way to contribute meaningfully to someone that is easy and doesn't cost a cent, connect people together. People want to connect with people who have similar values, interests, and beliefs. So for example, if you meet an aspiring pilot and you happen to know a friend who is a pilot, right? Offer to connect both of them. It takes you literally minutes, and you have gifted both people, the person you just met and your friend, a meaningful connection, which once again doesn't cost a cent. Both of them are going to remember you and be thankful to you, and all you did was to connect both of them together. And last but not least, number 3, the third way, oh gosh, this is so powerful. The third way to contribute meaningfully to someone that does not cost a cent is to create a customer relationship management Excel sheet. Now this is going to sound a little bit, it sounds a little bit complicated, but it's actually really easy. This CRM is where you keep the context of people that you have met that you want to remember. List down their interests, list down their values, and list down their goals. In future, when you come across an article or a connection or an opportunity that you know that they can really benefit from, send it to them. Send them a WhatsApp. Forward them that article. That is how you keep top of mind and maintain the connection even after the first meeting. Because networking is not just about having one good conversation. It is keeping the relationship warm. Once again, networking is not just having one good conversation. It's keeping the relationship warm. And you do so by remembering who are the people in your network, the people that you want to keep in your network at least, and send them articles, send them connections once in a while, catch up with them once in a while, every couple of months. Well, finally, I want to leave you with this, right? We have reached the end of the episode. You have now known 3 principles you want to keep in mind as you approach networking, the 3 ways to connect better with people, and the 3 ways to contribute meaningfully to people. I want to encourage you to network beyond your current circle, because you'll never know what fresh perspectives and connections that you can gain from, whether it will benefit you in your career or in just your mental and emotional state, because it has definitely helped me so much, not just in my career and my business. It's gotten me gigs, it's made me more money, it has made me feel so connected with other people. It's also connected me to one of my closest group of friends as well. So I want to encourage you to network beyond your current circle, explore other people out there, get fresh new perspectives out there, and use this podcast, listen to it again so that you can network more effectively. Now, if you found this helpful, do share it on social media, because I want as many people to benefit from this as possible. And I really, really hope that as many people can use this for their advantage. And with that, I'll see you in the next episode.